Good
Good
morning.
morning. Good
Oh,
morning. Is it a good morning? I
uh,
hear you're
well,
in a lot of pain today.
well, I have to lie when I say good morning with a smile on my face. Yes, I just so everybody knows. I mean, I do suffer from fibro. I was finally diagnosed a few years ago, and there's days that even though I'm smiling, I don't feel like smiling. And today's one of them. Yes, I'm very, very sore. But fibro kind of feels like somebody's taken you and just kicked you all over. You just feel totally
Oh
bruised.
boy.
So yeah, that's how I'm feeling today. But regardless, I'm gonna go right on ahead. Week number 60 with a smile on
Doing the
her
show?
face. Yes, of doing the show. And just in case we veer from the subjects, here is the dog.
Here's the
We will
dog.
ex
Okay, so you have
we'll,
it handy and ready.
we'll explain later if we have to use it.
So my lease needs cheering up, people. So post your comments and say good morning to her and make her laugh so she won't feel pain anymore. Good morning, Gail. How are you
Good
doing
morning,
today?
Gail. Yeah, so if I look like I'm not breathing, you'll know why.
Hoping you're doing good on this somewhat cloudy and looks like it's going to rain today. I'm not sure if it will or not, but it certainly looks like it.
Always positive when it looks cloudy and rainy and not snowing. So we're all good.
Oh, well, I guess that's, well, unless you're Gabriel.
Unless you're what? Oh, yeah, Gabe from
If you're
TV
Gabe,
shows.
you want snow.
Yeah, I see that. Whenever we had a few flakes the other day, he was in his glory. He was already
I know
singing.
he pulled out his snowman masks or for those little sprinkles of
Yeah,
like snow showers anyways.
actually, I think he was
Oh,
out.
Gail is asking what's wrong with you. She was just saying she has fibromyalgia and she's not having a good day today. So,
Today's a day of flare up. So I will smile, but I might not be breathing at the same time. We'll just see how it goes.
mhm.
See, I'm smiling.
So we have a guest today, but he's not backstage yet. So I'm not sure if you want to see what's going on. But we're going to be talking to Bobby Parent, right?
Yes, and I was
Bobby
just going
Parent.
to say, I think I was pronouncing his name wrong yesterday. I was saying Bobby Parent, but it's Parent.
Parent. Parent. Yeah.
It's French, yes. Yeah, so let me just double check where he is. Just one sec.
So Bobby has an awesome story for us because there's a lot of there's a lot of mental health and addiction going on with this pandemic. It's been kind of like exponentiated because everybody is so stuck, right? It's we're all
Yeah.
stuck in a situation that we don't want to be in, and so drugs and addiction and alcohol has been on the increase. And Bobby is a person who has overcome his addictions. And so we're going to talk to him today.
And actually, I just wanted to kind of do a little side note because like I always say, everything happens for a reason. Everybody crosses our paths at times that they need to and comes into our lives when they need to, and some of them leave when they need to. But we were actually working on the June Seeker last week, and this interesting email came in from a lady called April, who happens to be Bobby's partner. And she was telling us about his wonderful story and if we'd be interested in talking to him. And like it's amazing because it's just the great timing because of all the mental health issues and addiction issues and things that are going on right now with COVID and
Yeah,
the pandemic.
absolutely. And if you can help one person,
Yeah.
only one person, it's enough. If your testimonial, if your experience is helping one person in the process of recovery, you've done a great job. Your
And
your
yeah.
your experience has saved someone. So
And that's the last paragraph in the letter that she had written or the email. If we could touch at least one soul out of your viewers, then we could consider our mission accomplished. Your
there
tagline
you
says
go.
local supporting local, which is great. So it's all about his story and how he overcame it himself, and he
Yep.
wants to help people to let them know that there is light at the end of this tunnel.
Absolutely, there is. So I'm gonna let you see what's going on with Bobby, and in the meantime, I'm gonna be talking about there is a Facebook group that is promoting health, and it's again, physical activity ties in with mental health because if you're active, you're getting those endorphins going, and so it's all linked together. So keep moving, people. And Lauren Secord has this fabulous group that she started on Facebook. It's called 100K in May with Lauren. I'm going to share my screen just to um, show what it is. Um, Here we go. So she started this group. I think it was somewhere in April, and she's up to 300 and over 300 members now. And their goal is for each individual to get 100 kilometers for the month of May. So you can go and walk and track your process, and you can join the group and then post what you're doing, get your cumulative, and post about it. And they are also selling t-shirts. So there's the 1K 100K in May fitness challenge, first annual, and the shirts are available at Mike's Printing and Apparel. As you see, they're $25 each, and $5 goes to charity. So yeah, so it's going to the United Way. So get your shirt, join the group, get moving, and that helps with mental health, no doubt. Let me get this off. All right, so Bobby's backstage.
Yep, I just saw that.
Okay, so we can bring him on, and Bobby is going to talk to us today about his story. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you today?
I'm very good. Very good.
Glad and I have to say, I did it. I watched your show last night, 8 o'clock. I loved it.
Yeah.
Even though April was ignoring you for quite some time while she was putting her makeup on.
She's not putting makeup on. She said it was just a touch up of lipstick, I guess. But
okay.
That's kind of the show that we do. We tease each other in the show. April has you girls would know. April has a lot to do. I just sit in back of the mic and sing some songs and tell bad jokes, but she's got a lot going on. But I really rely on her in that show to give me information and let me know what's going on. So, but last night. Yeah.
She's got to be a multitasker because you got to bring the screen in and cue the video and cue the music.
Yeah, not to mention a 9-month-old that'll be somewhere. It doesn't care about the importance of my Sunday night show. So,
well, I can hear him. I can hear him singing in the background now.
Yeah, he's.
It keeps things interesting. I got the same thing. My kids you might see them pop in and out of my screen once in a while because they're doing their school here. So so they pop in my office, print some stuff, go out, but it keeps things interesting.
I think a lot of us in the new era of COVID, a lot of us are doing a lot of things from home.
Yep.
So sometimes the home doesn't care about our very important things we do on these Zoom and these meetings. But yeah, so anyway, but I'm very glad to be here. You caught me at a good time. I'm at about 9 o'clock. I start to wake up, so up earlier, but it takes me a little while to roll. So
you need a few coffees. I know.
Yeah. I can. We can relate, definitely.
I love that.
Yeah.
Seeker chicks.
Oh yes, that's.
I like that.
We did these our little custom cups. So, Bobby, why don't you tell us your story?
My story. Well, yeah. So I mean, if we're talking about um, the sobriety part of my story, I'd go back to why I'm talking about it publicly. I guess is because of music. And so when I was in the beginning parts of my recovery, I'm a musician, so I turned to music to help me. I mean, music was always a big part of my life, and but I had turned to songwriting. In part therapy. Songwriting is something that it just kind of pops up. Sometimes as you don't motivate yourself necessarily in the songwriting, and at least not in this case. And so these songs were starting to pop up in my head, and I was like, okay, well, I think I have a direction where I want to write, and so I started writing these songs and letting these emotions come out and letting these words flow. And my only intention with the songs was for me. I mean, I was alone writing them, and I had absolutely no intention of doing anything with the songs other than to write them, and I play them by myself. And so I ended up coming up with a bunch of songs, and these songs were they were therapeutic. They were partly trying to just change my mindset as I was retraining my brain into a new world. That's what I was using. So it was therapeutic, but I was also sort of rewiring my thought process, and so I wanted some positive. I wanted some positive energy to myself, and so I started writing these songs. Some of them were apologies for people in my past life. Some of them were just they were I was more philosophical, I guess, and what I was. The album's called Real Love, and that real love was love about teaching me to love myself again, and teaching me to accept love that was around. And so that's why the album got named Real Love. And so I wrote these songs, and they were great for me in a personal way. And then I was jamming with some friends, some people I knew and some people I didn't know. We were just jamming, playing some music, and having some fun. And I played a couple of my own songs in the sessions, and there happened to be a producer that was playing bass with us, actually. And I didn't know much about this guy, and he called me. He called me up one day, and he said, "Well, I heard some of your songs. Why don't you come into the studio and maybe let's see what we can do?" And so I ended up going into Kevin Cook's studio and in Ottawa, and we started recording. We recorded one song, no direction. So there was no real direction of where we were going with anything, and we recorded another one and another one. We ended up with 10 songs, and then a record label had a local record label in Ottawa had picked I had approached the Willow Sound Records, and Willow Sound said, "Yeah, I mean, I love this stuff." And it was in the process of working with the record label that she heard my story, and we decided that, okay, well, let's maybe talk about your story, and how comfortable would I be talking about this story. And the songs were about my story in sobriety, and so that's kind of why I'm here now, sort of in the press talking about it. It's not, sobriety is one of those things that's a great story, but sobriety comes there's another end of it. And so it does. So I had to think about, how I'm going to approach it, what I'm going to talk about. And but it was really the support of a lot of people, including Willow Sound Records and Tara Shannon, who had who had done a lot of marketing and and she said, no, I think your story is good. I think it's worthwhile. And so we had to promote the EP. We had to promote the album, and we decided on, that's a good, honest way that to promote it. There's you can't make $1 million making music anymore. It's very difficult. But so well, I'm not going to make $1 million. And how about if I can see if I can reach out and tell people a little bit about where I was and what happened, and and how it came to be that I'm here now. So that's in general why I'm talking about it, and then you just realize there's a lot of outreach. There's a lot of people, not just in addictions and that. There was a lot of people started reaching out that were having difficult times, and thought that the story was inspiring. So that's kind of what I'm talking about. That's why I'm talking about that.
Yeah, it's
So
definitely
you've been,
oh, no, I
go
was
ahead.
just going to say it's definitely an inspiring and positive story, and that's why we were really interested. But Julia?
So you've been sober for 4 years, and so I'm curious, what was life looking like before?
Not very good.
Yeah.
I mean, um, it addictions are kind of an all-consuming, very. I'd say for myself, speaking for myself, it was just a very selfish state that I was in, and so at the end of that, before this journey began, it was it wasn't. It was there wasn't much going on. I was alone. I had isolated myself, and I didn't really want to be involved in the outside world in any way. And and I'm a pretty social person, so at the end of that, it was dark. It was not a. I certainly wasn't living up to my potential. That's for sure. And but the stages that you go through in battling addictions is you go from the stage of everything's fun, and then denial, and then so for me it was there was stages of of denial of it, and then of realizing, okay, well, there's obviously a problem, and then how can I forgive myself, and what's the point? I mean, at the end of it was like, well, what's the point of me even stopping? What's the point of me even trying to forgive myself? What's the point? All of this has happened, and so there's this very self-pity. There was,
Yeah, you get stuck in a
Yeah.
self-destructive loop, right? Where you just, the more you do, the darker and the deeper you go in, and so you hit rock bottom at some point, and then recovery ensued.
Yeah, and the idea of rock bottom sometimes is, I'd say there were several rock bottoms. I mean, it depends how we look at what a rock bottom is, and that's the trick with addictions. Addictions plays this that the substance becomes so much of your life that it that the fear that you have of the position that you're in with the addictions, what it's caused, is also the cure. So the substance becomes the cure for everything, and so for me it was I really did live a life in when I look back, and I'd done a lot of work so in sobriety, so it wasn't just it's just not a matter of I don't believe a matter of just quitting something. It's not about quitting. It's really about working with other people and working hard to see the big picture of yourself. And for me, it was I was in fear most of my life. I mean, I look back now, and it was I was insecure. I was in was fear, even though on the outside I tried to exude this confidence and tried to but it was fear. I mean, now I'm looking back, and I didn't really want to deal with anything, and that was the easy way out for me. It was just we'll have a drink, and everything's going to be all right.
Mhm. I saw a quote. Actually, it was just, I think it was Friday, and it said, addiction is giving up everything for one thing, and recovery is giving up one thing to get everything.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
let's talk about getting everything. Your life is very different now, and you've got everything.
Well, I used a quote that I had heard someone say, in the before I started the my recovery, and the quote was, "If someone told me that I'll never get anything back that I lost, but I'll be sober forever, that's good enough." And that's sort of where you have to be. That's where I couldn't expect the expectations where you have to sort of, in the beginning, it's sobriety in my case that becomes the focal point, the one thing. And then, but, not in that quote is the effect of, okay, and having friends around and having people gone through this, and they'd say the effect of it, you'll see, you might not get everything back, but you see what comes up, and there are miracles that come up just in recovery. And but yeah, the expectations are not, are there's no like, there's no gold at the end of the rainbow for this. This is the expectation in sobriety, is that you're just wanting to live a better life. And some of the things I talk about is just living a more average life. Like, I had to find a way that what's this average life that everyone's living, and what is going to bed sober and waking up sober. Well, that's an interesting way to live. And so there was these little things that so when I heard the quote, I was like, well, now I'm not going to get anything back, and I've lost my best friend, the substance. So it's difficult. It's difficult when you're in the world of but there's a reality to it. But for me personally, what had happened was there was just this one person after another with very good intentions, with not asking anything in return, started helping me out. And it happened in different areas in my life. It happened in in a recovery community, but it happened outside of that. It happened just and all of a sudden, sort of the people around me had completely changed, and these people were just beautiful people. And I'm forever grateful for what the people I met in that recovery, just that taught me so much. That taught me you don't have to be number one here, Bobby. You don't have to be, but if accept. And acceptance is I think the thing I had to learn, just accepting that. And then things started happening for me. They just sort of rolled into I talk about a ripple effect, the ripple effect of addictions on families and colleagues and friends, and that very negative ripple effect. But it's a bigger wave on the other end of it if you can get through it. If you can get to it, the ripple effect of positive energy becomes the overwhelming thing. And that's what happened to me. And it doesn't happen right away, but it certainly happened to me that just, one by one breath at a time, there was this wave of positive energy. And my job was just not to pretend that I knew everything. My job was just to listen and accept, accept the past and not be there and not stay there. And that's the switchover. That happened. And that happens to a lot. I mean, it's not, I'm telling a story, but the stories are out there.
Absolutely.
And I don't think they get talked about enough. So, Miley, you heard me last night in the Eric Clapton show. I did Eric Clapton songs, and that was coming from requests from people. Let's do a Clapton show. But Clapton publicly talks about this more than most musicians, and Clapton's famous for his stories about the 4-year-old, his 4-year-old that tragically died. But Clapton is huge in a recovery community, and he's talked about it publicly, and he's done a lot of work with a lot of people. So it was guys like that said, okay, you know what, I don't have the clout that Eric Clapton does, but probably not talked about as much as it could be, because there's a fear of this. What
stigma?
There's a stigma with it. There's a fear of sort of ticking off the past too, because the past, some of the people in the past that got hurt aren't going to, they're not going to see it our way, that this is a nice positive story. And but yeah, so Clapton he's a musical inspiration, but he was also an inspiration on and a good example of it. Alcoholism and addictions are not some guy or girl on the streets, in the city that have nothing. It's happening everywhere, and it's happening with people, with very successful people, very average people, and it happens right across the board in society. And we don't see it because there's a stigma. We don't talk about it. And I certainly didn't I didn't think, I denied that anything was wrong, and then I didn't want to talk about it at all. So
how did this all, my question is, how did this all start? Because I know with me, I like to have a glass of wine once in a while, and it's like, well, I've had a bad day, so I'm gonna have a glass of wine, it'll make it better. Is that kind of how it starts?
Addiction, you mean?
Yeah, and then what, you just rely on it more and more and more, or how does it all start?
I think that's not a one answer question. I think it probably is very different for very different people.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
I think it's I think it is. I think, Julia, you're right, but I also think there is a
common denominator
that's there, I believe. I've heard hundreds of people talk about addictions and recovery, and in different parts of the world, and with different social statuses, and there's always this one thing. So, Miley, you might have a glass of wine, and that's just to get through. You're just like, oh crap, what a crappy day. But I think one common denominator is what I was talking about a little bit with fear, and you can see correlation with addictions. Is there's this insecurity, there's this fear, and that's one common thing that I've heard a lot. It's just you're trying to get away from something all the time. You're just trying to get by on a bad day, and and alcohol is good for that. Alcohol is, and I mean, in certain circumstances, that's what I would do too. But when it becomes such a big part of your life, you're really trying to move away from everything. I mean, so if I look back, it was just, I didn't want to be in my own space. I didn't know it at the time. I learned these things after, and I think that's a common denominator. There's, that kind of. Yeah.
There's a genetic factor too. Like they say that, genetically, it's also something that you carry a predisposition to addiction. How about your family? Is that something that runs in your family? I know it runs in mine. Like I'm the exception in my family, basically.
You know,
You're the exception anyway, Julia. Just laugh. Just
Aw.
kidding.
I think, I can't speak for the science of it. I really, is it, I think in families, if that's something that's going on all the time, and if that's
Learned behavior.
part
Mhm.
uh, of, um, uh, of, of, of the family, then, learn behavior too.
Yeah.
What I do believe is that it's in a lot of families. It affects so many families that we really don't. We don't. It could be colleagues. It could be friends. It could be people that we see walking in at Walmart, and everything looks good.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's such a. I'd read some stats on economic impacts of addictions, and so that's sort of not the part of talking about addictions that's super interesting. But I mean, it's the impact. We're talking billions and trillions of dollars of negative economic impact on addiction. So it's just not the guy down the road that has a drinking problem. That it's sort of everywhere. But yeah, I mean, there's certainly some scientific evidence that would say it runs in families, and some say some would call it a disease, some would call it an allergy. Uh,
Mm.
the world in recovery, I think, they're using a different term now than alcoholism for it, as we try to change the mindset of what addictions and alcoholism is, and but it's certainly something that goes beyond just something like you said, Miley. It goes way beyond someone just wanting to get away from a
A
bad.
bad day. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, the pandemic, we were talking before you came on, the pandemic certainly has exasperated this whole
Yeah.
um, mental mental illness and addiction side of things. I think a lot of people are turning to substances to try to cope with this very hard situation. So it's on the rise, and you're right. It needs to be talked about more and destigmatized so people can feel comfortable about talking about it.
Yeah. And reaching
There's
out
no
for help.
shame to it. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's no shame to it. It's just, but yeah, people judge and
But there's a couple of uh, expressions. One's, it's like there's no embarrassment about walking out with 6 bottles from the liquor store. Walk out of a recovery place, and you want to put the jacket over you. You don't. And that's the stigma that Julie is referring to. It's because like I said earlier, the recovery indicates something about you. It means you have to recover from something. Something was not right if you're in that recovery. But yeah, certainly the pandemic, I think, has pushed out a lot of negative uh, things in us all, and but at the same time, hopefully, I'm hearing some very positive stories, though, even in this. So from recovery standpoint, there are some surprising stories of people making it through this pandemic, and with dealing with addictions as well, because I think whatever the world is going on around us, so for an addict, and for some battling addictions, and whatever's happening around the world, whether it be a pandemic or whether things are normal, doesn't matter to the person completely immersed in an addiction. It really doesn't. So I can think for myself, I can't imagine trying to do this in a pandemic, but you're so immersed in it that whatever's happening doesn't really matter. And so recovery can also happen even when things are going on. Although it's more difficult to get out there and meet people. It's
Mhm.
talk to people, but there's still stories that I'm hearing now. It's like, wow, wait, you made it through this, and you made it through like 1 year of recovery, and that was during the pandemic. And
Mhm.
so, because I think when someone has enough, they've you sort of have enough. And but yeah, so there's still good stories going on in the pandemic.
No,
That's good.
this was wonderful to hear your story, because it just lets people know that even though they might be, well, I don't know, in the depths of despair and addiction, there's hope. Like, there's hope and there's light at the end of the tunnel. They just have to reach out for it, I believe. Because I don't think you can make anybody change if they don't feel they need to, or if they don't
No,
want
the
to, right?
acceptance would be
Yeah.
the first step to take, right? Is to admit, not acceptance, but admit that there is a problem.
And that you want to change. That's how it kind of works. Because really, anybody from the outside can see what's going on, but they can't change what's going on, right? It's the person has to make a change themselves. Is that right?
Absolutely, but the part of me telling the story is also, so that is a very common thing with the addictions, that it really comes down to that person. I mean, you can't make someone do something that they
Mhm.
want to do, but you have to have people ready when that happens. And sometimes you got a small window when you're dealing with addictions,
Mhm.
for, um, to be able to grab them just when they reach out that hand. And that's the nature of addictions. And that hand can reach out sometimes, and when no one's there, then you can go right back into that despair and right back into that. But for me, telling the story is also there are people everywhere that will reach out their hand without wanting anything back. Just if they can help someone else recover is enough. And yeah, and I think we all have to be ready. If you're in that, it's just be ready for when that may happen. That you just you reach out your hand and help them out, because it's just the certainly the stats would show it's prevalent in our society, but it doesn't get talked about all that much. Although it's
Mhm.
in the last 30 or 40 years, but it still is not, something that gets talked about a lot in public. But yeah, you just got to be ready, and that's what I'm hoping I can do. So yeah, to be honest, I'm promoting an album, and I'm promoting something with my story, and but it's also, in all honesty, I'm more than willing, because I've seen what it did for me. I've seen what other people did, and and it's just a service to society if you can be there and ready to help someone in recovery. And there are plenty of people out there that are willing to do that. So be ready is what I say. When
Okay.
someone that you love is in trouble, and listen, and sort of just pray that time's going to come, that person is going to say, "Ooh, I've had enough." And
So basically, be on the standby and be ready to throw a lifeline.
throw a lifeline. Yeah,
Yeah.
be the life.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's good. So speaking of your music, so there's a new single that's out today, and we're gonna play it at the end of the show so people can listen to what it is. I've already posted all the links to your Facebook, your website, and the YouTube channel. Now, I have a question. The show that you do on Sundays, is that on Facebook, or
Yeah, that's
that's a live stream on Facebook?
night shows, a Facebook Live. And I'll just quickly say that's only April and I have developed this whole broadcast studio in our house, and this whole because we can't get out there playing live, So, but that was a blessing in disguise in a way too. The fact is, a normal promotion would be to be playing in Ottawa, and I would be playing. I'm from down east, and like SBZ, and we had these tours planned, and then of course the pandemic came upon us, so we had to scramble a little bit. And well, how are we going to promote this? And so we went on to Facebook about maybe 9-10 months ago, almost a year, I guess. And we get to meet people now though from all over the world, Australia and Hong Kong and Germany, and so that's been a lot of fun. But that show is on Facebook every Sunday night, and that's just playing some tunes and talking a little bit and trying to spread some good vibes.
And I really liked it because it's kind of like what Julie and I do. We started this Monday morning motivation, to motivate ourselves because of what is happening
it's
around
a selfish
us.
venture.
Yeah, it was a little bit, but it's also, this is not something we would have done if the pandemic hadn't hit. I really don't think we would have even taken this on. And this is week number 60. We've done 60 of these shows. We do it every Monday too. And we try to make it that we're approachable. Just like you and April, I thought it was hilarious, like the way you were interacting with each other and chatting. And it was just like we were getting to know you both. And you were in your own home studio and totally approachable. People, I really like that.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you, Mylise. Yeah, I mean, that's what we're trying to the vibe that we're trying to get out there. And we have a lot of fun with it.
And it was obvious that it wasn't staged. Like, it's kind of like Julie and I, we just go with the flow. It's a chat show, and we don't stage anything. We don't
we have
write anything down
many times.
Oh yeah, and it was the same with you guys. You were kind of just going with the flow.
Yeah, well, we go with the flow, and we really do. Like April, and on some of the songs, April, it's like putting a coin in the jukebox. Where they said, "Do this song," and and we'll do this stuff. So some of it is we prep up a little bit on some of it. Everything going on that show that you've seen, Mylise, on the graphics and whole production is that's all Miss Sylvania, the great Avril Sylvania. So that's April's end of it. But the interaction, I would say Sunday evenings are our favorite evening that we have here. It's even after the show, there's always a positive vibe that we have in the house. So it's become a lot of fun, and we've got we've learned how to be more interactive with people, because you learn on the go a little bit, like you're doing. So, but we have a lot of fun, and that's what that show is all about. It's just about being sort of natural, and I not like the camera in any way. When I first started the show, if you would have taken a pin and just went like that, I was so tense and just so I learned to sort of I'll make mistakes, and I'll misspeak and get a song wrong sometimes, and it's all cool. It's all okay. It's and that's sort of the reactions that we're more getting. It's kind of homey and just down to earth, and so
awesome. Well, I want to thank you for being with us today. We're gonna let you go, and stay safe, and we'll check back with you sometime.
Absolutely. So I wanted to say it was a pleasure talking to you last night, because we had a little chance to chat in our test that we did, and morning. And thanks for reaching out, and thank April for reaching out to you. For giving that chance to talk about recovery, and that's awesome. So good luck with your show. We'll check you out too. So Monday morning.
Good. Yep, every Monday morning at 10 a.m.
That's awesome. I think what you're doing is great too. So thank you for having me.
It was perfect timing, and everything happened for a reason.
I believe that's awesome. All right.
All right. Have a good day.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye. Look, that was nice.
Well,
So
that was
we're gonna play the single before the end of the show. I gotta find it. I don't know where I put it now.
yeah. We're gonna
Um,
instead of our outro, we'll play the song. And
yeah,
again, I just want to say that's the fourth single, and there's 10 singles on his album Real Love. But his
yeah,
first one was, again, he said like it's first one was called Apology, second one was
yeah,
Dogs, the third one Real Love, and then this one that we're going to play in about what 10 minutes or so.
yeah.
This one is called
Hold on.
Always.
Okay. You didn't hear that, right?
Yeah, I
You didn't
did,
hear
but
any.
I'm
You
just
you
ignoring
did?
it. Kind of heard
Oh,
a bit
so
of a rumble or something.
okay. That's weird that it played. Anyways, yeah.
So
Technical difficulties again.
I know, but that's what it's all about. Just like we were talking, we just want to be natural and go with the flow. And I'm looking at my lighting here. I don't know what I can do with the lighting in this room, but I do apologize today because I'm looking a little washed out and whatever. I'll try and work on that. I do want to say one thing though. I don't know if you heard about this, Julia. Apparently, there's a production crew today in Cornwall.
Yes,
They're
I heard
filming,
that.
yeah, a scene for a
They're
Netflix movie.
they're filming a kissing scene because apparently in Quebec it was not allowed.
Yeah, I saw that. It's and the movie's going to be called Single All the Way. And
Yeah.
they were filming this morning between 9 and 10. Somebody had actually given us a quick message to go and check it out, but of course we couldn't because we're doing our show.
Yeah.
But yeah, on Montreal Road around Prince Arthur and Prince Albert, they were doing the filming because there was one particular house they had kind of zoned in on. So that's
Oh
exciting.
well, that's interesting, eh?
Yeah,
For sure.
I'm sure somebody will have captured that and we'll put it on Facebook at some point.
Yeah, yeah, and we'll just share it. So, okay, it is 10:47, so it's time for the Monday morning munchie taste test.
Now, again, I seem to be picking all these things. I don't know why I do it, but I have picked something that this is my all-time favorite candy.
Is it?
Well, candy
So when
sweet from England.
when
Like this is really from England.
oh, so when you told me walnut whip, I thought it was like whipped cream, walnut tasted whipped cream.
Well, I'm going to just read the quick description of what it is. A walnut whip is a world-shaped cone of milk chocolate with a whipped vanilla fondant filling topped with half a walnut. It's quite rich and it's something I have as a treat, but I love this stuff.
Where did you buy that?
Well, this one actually there's a whole British section in Walmart. So we had Sheldon's oldest do our groceries there because
Oh, okay.
he's really looking out for us. So he picked it up, but I believe you can get it also at the bulk barn. And I know in Ottawa there was a British store like oh my god, I can't remember what it was called, but there's a lot of places that you can get it. But this is authentic British.
Well, it is British.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. Interesting looking thing.
See, there's your world-shaped cone,
And that's the walnut right on top.
the half a
So how do you
walnut.
eat this, Miley?
I
You
just
just
kind
like
of bite the walnut off and then just keep eating it.
keep going?
And with my tongue, I kind of lick the inside out. Kind of a
Okay.
interesting
TMI.
thought.
Okay, let's try this. Mm.
Yeah, there's your fondant filling. It's quite rich, so it's not like you would eat these all the time, but it's a big treat.
Mm.
This is actually my breakfast. I'm not sure about you, but this is
Me
today's
too.
breakfast.
Do I taste maple?
I don't know. It's
No.
vanilla. It's actually
Yeah.
vanilla.
Hmm. I see why you use your tongue.
See?
It's pretty
T
good.
see TMI.
Hmm. It's lovely.
It is rich. It's quite rich, but it is good.
It's got like the cream filling there and chocolate. Hmm. Really good. I never heard of this.
I'm just actually
Walnut
wondering,
whip.
yeah, walnut whip. I'm actually wondering if of course we haven't been able to visit Happy Popcorn Co. for a while, but
Mm-hmm.
they have a lot of British stuff there too. So I'm just wondering if they might have got this in by now. Actually, you know what? I think they did because I was the one that mentioned it.
I'm just scarfing it down. It's really good. It is rich,
It is.
but
You
I
don't want
think
to
it's
eat
just
it.
the right size.
It is. It is. I've eaten
Mm.
kind of half it. I'm going to save the rest of it, but
Mm.
I see you've
Breakfast.
already eaten the whole
Breakfast
thing.
of champions. Yeah.
It is. It is. We seem to be eating really weird things for breakfast, but that's okay.
Hmm. I would give this a solid 9 out of 10.
I would give it 10 out of 10 because it is my ultimate favorite. But
Mm.
actually, we took it apart. We can't take a picture. I do have one though. Actually, I have a second one, so I'll take a picture properly and I'll send it to you, and we can post it.
Yep, that's really good. So 9 out of 10 for me, 10 out of 10 for my lease for the walnut whip.
And like we
There you
say
go.
every week, if you've got something that you want us to taste test, please let us know, and we will
Yeah.
go find it.
And we've been doing some really normal things so far. Like, I mean, I would really like people to suggest things that are completely unusual. Like, sometime I'm gonna make you try my tripe soup.
Ooh, just the sound of it, I don't know. It's like making me try haggis or something. Haggis. Now there's something
Oh,
else.
ugh. I've tried it before. I don't like it at all.
Oh, have
But
you?
anyways, yeah, I have, and it, that's just I don't like it at all. I can't. Anyways, but it would be nice to get some comments and some suggestions on what to do. Um, oh, Kaiser says back to London.
Oh yeah. Oh
So
yeah.
she got them at Walmart. So she said that she got those at Walmart. There's a British section at Walmart that you can get them to.
But I'm pretty
So
sure, I'm thinking back, I think you can also get them at Happy Popcorn.
yeah,
I'm pretty sure because they have a huge selection of different
they do.
candies
They
and
do.
sweets. I am
They
so
do.
looking forward to when their doors open and you can walk in there because I can spend a lot of time checking all that out and
Hmm.
buying it. It's not good for you,
Hmm.
but it's always good to have these little things put aside for those just in case moments that you need them,
Yeah.
right?
So on Saturday, one of the things that I miss the most about this pandemic is movie theaters. I think I've said that before.
Yeah.
I used to take my oldest for a movie almost every week. Like we used to go to the Messina Movieplex a lot, and here too. Um, and so I really miss going to the movies. So we do a movie night here every Friday with the kids,
Hmm.
and so we watch movies. Like a lot of times, I'll just run an older movie that I think was awesome and that they need to see. So we've gone through a lot of classics like Forrest Gump and the
Hmm.
good movies. But this Friday we ordered from Skip the Dishes the Cineplex popcorn. So
Oh,
you can order the Cineplex popcorn and either pick it up or they have it delivered. So we had the real movie theater popcorn on Saturday, and it was kind of neat because it kind of brings you back to those times, right?
I want to ask you another plug for Happy Popcorn, but they have I think they have a movie popcorn too at one point.
They do.
Yeah, we should
And
try
you
that
know, it
one too.
doesn't take away. Like I love the popcorn at the Happy Popcorn. I love their popcorn too. But once in a while, I need the real
The
thing
movie
from the
popcorn.
from yeah, the unhealthy
Yeah,
crap they put in there.
yeah, you're right.
Yeah, it's anyways. It's the little things I find these days, right? You find pleasure in the little things.
You know what?
It's
I
the
mean,
little
what I kind of do miss is, and it was not that I need to buy any more stuff because I have way too much stuff, but I miss kind of walking across to Salvation Army, walk into the Agape, thrift shop, or going to Serendipity because there's always something interesting that
hmm
you can purchase from these places. Plus, you're supporting local, right? But I
Yeah.
miss that because right now they're all closed, of course. So there's still another few weeks that everything is closed, and who knows if they're going to open at that point.
Yeah.
So yeah, I miss those little things too, and I do want to show our listeners something. Does anybody have this issue happening in their house?
All the time.
A toilet roll that there's like a sheet left and nobody has put a new one on. This kind of thing, paper towel holder, empty,
Me, it's the
Kleenex
boxes.
Kleenex box, completely empty, just left there. And of course, we have the famous boxes of something that has been taken out of the pantry, emptied, and the boxes put back.
Crackers,
Yeah, so it's
Pop
really
Tarts,
hard to do groceries because
cereal,
you see the box
milk,
sitting there. Yeah.
the milk bag.
The empty milk bag. How hard
Oh,
is it? How hard is it to take the bag
why
out?
am I the only one who can change a milk bag around here?
Exactly. Exactly. Actually, at Harvest, I did see a really neat sign uh, a few years ago, and it said, "Changing the toilet roll does not cause brain damage." I should have picked it up. That's perfect to put over that, the
Yeah,
toilet
that would
roll
be
holder.
perfect.
But yeah,
Well,
let us know, folks. Does anybody else have these kind of issues in their house?
yeah, just let us know. Send us a message. You can send a message at info@theseeker.ca. I'm going to wrap up right quick because it's almost 11 and I want to play that song before we go. So have yourself a great day.
And just so that everybody knows, this is Bobby Perron. I hope I'm saying it right. His new single that released today called Always.
All right, let's listen to it. Hold on.
And it's actually, he sings about his journey.
Correct. Mundo. Okay. So you were not hearing anything?
I heard nothing. I didn't
So
hear
what's
it.
going on here?
So I wanted to make sure that we hear it because I heard nothing.
Okay, I'm going to try this again. You tell me if you hear it now, okay? I'm going to
Started.
restart it.
Yeah.
You hear it?
Perfect.
You hear it. Okay, good. Well, bye, guys.
Bye.
When you said goodbye, I broke like a child. I never thought this could happen. And you moved on like the sun going down. And I got lost in the darkness. The sun goes east to west. The day will come to rest. May God be with you always. Through sun, shine and rain, through the mountains and the plains, we drifted across this big country. I remember the day you said there's a child on its way. Let's go back to our home by the ocean. The sun goes east to west. The day will come to rest. May God be with you always. Now years have gone by. Sometimes I'll still cry. It's been hard to mend this heart that's broken. But I accept and I know why you had to go. And your tears too have fallen. The sun goes east to west. The day will come to rest. May God be with you always. I remember that walk on the beach, in the park. I knew then I would love you. But I know I've done wrong. I can't change it with this song. It's just to say, may God be always with you.